Good morning, everybody. It's Margaret from Detail Salon and Spa here for a Monday makeup tutorial. I already have my base on. I did my concealer, foundation, as I showed you in a previous video. A little bit of bronzer / rouge on the cheeks, and a little bit of eyeshadow. So today I'm going to teach you how to properly draw on brows or fill them in, as well as a winged liner. So I like my eyebrows to be very unnatural looking, I guess is the best way to put it. I like them very dark, thick. I like them to stand out. It really frames my face. It goes with my dark colored roots. So you want to, if you don't want that kind of look, you just want to make sure you're choosing a more natural color that goes, with what you have now, maybe just a little bit darker. If you're very blonde, you don't want it to be necessarily overly dramatic like mine will be today. So I prefer a gel liner, can be used on eyes or brows. They also make pencils specifically for brows, and like a gel for brows too, which has almost like a little mascara wand. That's a really natural way to get started. It just looks very natural. It's easy to do. You can't really mess it up. You just take the mascara wand with the gel, colored gel, and just brush it on the brow. So helps to keep any unruly eyebrows in place. And also, if you've never done it before, it's just a nice way to get started. So I have my gel liner and an angled brush. I do clean my brush after each use. And I also, before I get started, just kind of like to pinch the top so it's nice and compact, and I can make a very narrow line. So I'm going to get a little on the edge there, and I'm going to trace right underneath the brow. Okay, so I've brought this out just a smidge because the middle of your brow, the inner corner of your brow should line up with the inner corner of your eye. The arch, so you need to use something really straight. The arch should be, if you hold it against your nose, it should go right through the center of the eye. That's where the arch is. And the end should line up, hold this against the nose, right with the outer corner of the eye. Okay, so that's how you know how to get a correct shape. So against the nose, inner corner of the eye, inner corner of the brow, the arch, nose, middle of the eye, that's where to put the arch. Hold your brush against your nose, outer corner of the eye, that's where the eyebrow should end. Okay? Alright, so I have my bottom line drawn on there. I'm going to trace just above where the eyebrow naturally is, because I like mine to be just a smidge thicker. If you don't want to add thickness to yours, you would trace right inside the hair. Okay, so I'm going to start to feather that down into the brow. So essentially what I'm doing is taking the lines that I've drawn and I'm feathering them into the hair to fill in the rest of the brow. It's a lot harder to do in a phone instead of a mirror. Okay, so I like kind of that ombre effect. It looks more natural, even though that's not necessarily the look I go for. I don't know why. I just like it to be a little less dark and full in through here. So that's why I start lining from here to the end and fill that in first. Then just using whatever color is left on the brush, then I'll go in and lightly fill in the rest of the brow so that it's not quite as dark and severe as the rest, but it blends quite well. Okay, so let's do the other brow quick. I'm not going to talk you through this one quite as much. Oh, it's so quiet. I'm always afraid to put music in these because I don't want to get like in trouble for copyright. I know I've seen people say on their posts like, I don't own any rights to this music and stuff, but I got in trouble once by accident. I don't really want to do that again. So just bear with me that it's, you know, a little bit quiet. All right, cool. Eyebrows are on. I'm liking it already. All right, let's do some winged liner next. I prefer a liquid liner. I feel like I get a smoother line. Since I am getting more mature in age, we'll say that. My skin is getting more mature in age. The liquid liner kind of fills in that crepey, you know, if you have some crepey skin on your lid, it fills that in a lot nicer. So I have one that's dual-ended, a thin tip and a thick tip. I'm going to use the thinnest one today. So there you go. Can you see that? Yeah. All right. So I like to start about halfway and fill in towards the outer lid on both sides, and then I bring a little bit of the line smudged in towards the inner corner. Then you'll see I'm going to draw a triangle that comes up from the bottom lid, okay, towards the outer corner of the brow. That's how I know that I'll get them fairly symmetrical. Doesn't have to be exact. Nobody's face is completely symmetrical, but obviously you want them, you know, to not be noticeably unsymmetrical. Yeah, you just want them to be as close as possible. So I'm going to start in the middle of the lid and work my way towards the outer corner. I also don't have any mascara on yet, so I feel like I look a bit strange because my lashes are so blonde. So now I'll work my way towards the inner corner with just very thin, fine motions. All right, so we're going to come up from that. If you drew an imaginary line from the outer corner of the brow to the outer corner of the bottom lid. This is so awkward. I might need to use my mirror. See if we can line this up so that you can still see what I'm doing here. Not quite, I don't know. Oh, there's my hand. Okay, yeah, I think you can still see. Okay, so I drew that line from the outer corner of the lid, or brow, to the outer corner of the bottom lash. So that made, like if I were to draw a complete line, you would see that they would all be connected. Obviously, we don't want to do that. And then I'm going to take the top of the wing that I just drew and connect it with the middle section that I already put on to make my triangle. Then we'll just fill it in. A couple little swipes. You also want to make sure that your liner goes all the way to the lash line. Otherwise, you know, I'm sure you've seen people with that little bit of a space between their lashes and their liner. That doesn't really do any justice for you. It doesn't look the best. So just make sure that, you know, whether you need to pull taut a little bit. Now again, working with the eyes, you don't want to pull too tight. You'll create premature wrinkles. So, but if you need to lift a bit to really see right where the lash line starts, to make sure that you get down to that, then that's fine. I do that a little as well. So I'll go ahead and do the second eye. Now this, depending right-handed, left-handed, you'll find one side is a little bit trickier than the other. Just take your time, go slow. Remember to start in the middle, work your way in, and then draw your triangle to get that nice little wing. We didn't do anything too crazy today. Sometimes I like to be pretty dramatic. So anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and do the other eye, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I've talked to you already for 12 minutes, so I'm gonna call it quits and do the other eye when we're done. But I hope that you found that helpful. Please comment with any questions that you have, just any suggestions. You know, I'm always open to learning more from people. So if you have any ideas for me, or you can even comment maybe something you'd like to see in another video. I hope you guys have a really wonderful day. Thanks for sticking this out with me, and I hope it was helpful for you. Bye.